The list is long. Don't talk about me. I am one person. I am not an octopus. Hi everyone, and welcome back to ChicKnitChronicles. My name is Tiffany. Thank you for being here. This is my knitting podcast all about things I'm currently working on, things I've recently finished, and plans for things that I want to knit in the future. So this episode is going to be all about my plans for spring leading into summer and maybe a little bit of summer. I kind of batch fall and winter together the same way I do spring and summer. Fall and winter, I want things that feel cozy, things that are in cozy colors. Whereas in the spring, I'm wanting things that are maybe a little bit brighter colors, things that just feel lighter. And then also I want to try some summer knitting. I've never really knit too many things for summer, so I do want to try that and see how that goes. So this list is not going to be in any particular order. It's just things that have caught my eye, things that I think I might be interested in, things that seemed like a good idea at the time that I'm making this list. You guys know how I am. Some of these things will happen. Some of these things will be promptly forgotten about, but maybe not promptly. Some of the things I've been wanting to knit for a while, so we'll just see if I actually have the time or the focus to knit them, because we all know how knitting focus can be. That being said, I technically have already cast on one of the things on my list, and that's okay. That's okay, because spring is on its way. But that is the Lento by Joanna Heelan with Line Magazine. And I have wanted to knit the Lento for a while. You guys know I am a top down in the round raglan girl. Like, that is my happy place. And I initially thought I was going to knit it in some yarn that I am planning to use for something else that I will talk about. But I realized I had too much yarn. And I am someone who does like to use all the yarn that I have if I can. I don't like to walk into a pattern or a knit knowing that I'm going to have most of a full skein left. Tiddly bits, sure, but most of a full skein is not going to sit well with my soul, because then what am I going to do with it? So I definitely like to go into something with the plan of, yes, most of the yarn is going to be used for this item. So what I realized was that I have a lot of the things that I'm going to be using are in my stash, or are actually quite a few things are actually quite deep stash, like way back in the archives. And this year I do want to make a concerted effort to knit more of the things I already have. There's a lot of stuff that I do like. There's some stuff that I'm mostly okay with, and it's trying to figure out what to do with that stuff. So yeah, anyway, circling all the way back, the Lento. So what I did was I realized I had 4 skeins of Malabrigo yarn sock in the color. I have 4 skeins of Malabrigo yarn sock in the colorway Persia. And I think when I originally bought it many moons ago, I was going to knit like a flippy skirted dress. I never got around to it, or if I started, I frogged it. I don't remember, but it didn't happen. And the yarn's just been kind of sitting there. And honestly, the main reason it got cast on was because I finished some things, and it was my reward, was being able to cast it on. So that's what I did. And the reason I ended up using that yarn is because the first skein was already wound up. So my plan is, because it's fingering weight, I was going to be holding it double, because the pattern is basically written for DK weight on size 10s. So I was like, well, I can get DK weight with 2 strands of fingering and it'll just give me something that's really drapey and airy. And I liked the idea of that for spring transitioning into summer. So the yarn I'm using, this is what it looks like. It's like this kind of like dusty navy blue color with some gray in it. So I've been holding them double and it's been really nice. And no, I'm not going to show it to you because that will be in my next podcast episode. Gotta keep you guessing, right? Coming back for more. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I am getting nice drape with it, and I do think it's going to be a good option for the spring going into summer. Like that with some white jeans, you know you see it. You know you see it. What's more spring than blue and white for spring and summer? Come on now. It's gonna be good. So that's the plan with that. Next on my list is the sweater. It's called Traveler's Sweater by I think it's Mini Knits, Minima Knits. Pro tip, she's the only person that could explain the Italian sewn cast off to me. No other video I watched made any sense. Hers, I got it. Anyway, so yes, that sweater, it is an intentionally 3 or 4 season sweater. It's in sport weight. And I plan to use Plucky Knitter Traveler is the base. It's sport weight, and the colorway is called On the Rocks. And it's this really pretty, simple gray. And I think it's going to be really good in the sense of it's transitional. It's something I'm going to be able to very easily wear in the spring, very easily wear in the fall. And it'll be pretty good layering piece probably to even wear through the winter, like under something if I need to, or with something under it because it's sport weight. So I'm really looking forward to that. I've been craving a gray sweater, and again, I'm trying to stay in my stash. So then I am one of those people that does put just about all of my yarn into Ravelry. So when I was stalking my own stash online to see what I had, I was like, wait, I have gray. What can I make? And when I saw that sweater, I was like, oh yeah, this is perfect because it's lightweight, it's breathable, and it's transitional. It's gonna go all year. It's got a nice little V-neck, very cute. So I'm excited to cast this. I probably would have already cast this on if one of these was already wound up. Like that's what I was going to do. I just was lazy and I didn't feel like winding it up, which is why the Lento got cast on first. It's fine. It's fine. Also, so when I first talked about this yarn, I called it by the wrong name. I called it Gumwall by Explore Knits, and it is not Gumwall. It is Beach Read. And I figured that out by very heavily stalking her Instagram page. It's Beach Read, and I'm going to be still planning to hold it double with my Miss Babs Katahdin. But what I really want, where's the yarn? There's the yarn. Hiding things from myself. What I really want is a duster, apparently. So right now, my plan is to hold these double and to make the No Frills Cardigan by Petite Knit. It is long. I mean, and technically it is just a raglan cardigan, right? Like it just, and you just keep going and it's longer. It is meant to be a little bit oversized, and I do like that. It's a raglan V-neck cardigan, and it's long. It's knit in, I think 1 strand of fingering, 1 strand mohair. But I don't know, like I like mohair. I have no problem with mohair, but I'm definitely in a not quite no mohair mood, but like minimal mohair mood right now. But I definitely think these two together are basically going to give you like a coral sweater. Okay, so that's my plan there for the No Frills cardigan. Also, I have another one of these. Also, my plan is to knit a Tolsta Tee by Rebecca Clow, the Craybear. I've been wanting to knit that since it came out, and again, top down raglan in the round. my jam. So my plan is to wind this up and hold it double, and that will give me a DK weight, lightweight top to put on. We'll see if that actually happens, because she also has a pattern written in fingering weight, and y'all know I love a fingering weight sweater, so we'll see. So I think when I did the math, I know I have enough for short sleeve. I don't know if I have enough for a long sleeve Tolsta, but we'll see. So that's the plan with the other one of these. Miss Babs, well, she used to, I don't know if she still does a sale around Christmas or New Year's. And I bought these. And at the time, again, my intention was to knit a dress. And that didn't happen. But I still have all this yarn and I do want to use it. Okay, side note. So I did my color analysis, and what I found out was I am a deep autumn. No, no, no. Okay, sorry. Scratch that. I am a deep winter, which really makes sense because deep winters are basically jewel tones, right? And jewel tones are my jam. Like my green Cozy Classic, magnificent on my skin, right? Cobalt blue, I have known for a very long time that you can't tell me nothing about cobalt blue. Okay, like cobalt blue on my skin, done. Like there's nothing to be said, right? So it makes sense because deep winters are basically jewel tones, and then black and white. Very specifically, not yellow creams. So basically, creams and like mustards are not my friend, which kind of makes me sad because very much like mustards, but also knew they weren't good on my skin. Already knew they washed me out. Pastels, already knew they washed me out. Didn't really know about the whole seasonal thingamabob, but it was very interesting. And it also reinforced some things that, again, I knew, but didn't know. But now that I can see it, like now I like no, right? Anyway, so in addition to being like deep winter is like my main, right? But you have sister seasons, and my sister seasons are deep autumn and cool winter and warm spring. Okay, so when I was looking at the warm spring color palettes, in those color palettes are coral, right? Love coral. Knew it looked good on me, but now like reinforcing like things that I knew but didn't pay all that much attention to. But yes, coral looks good. See? Okay. But another color that I was surprised was in warm spring, but I also do like and didn't realize because again, I prefer warmer colors, and this one is one of those colors that kind of walks the line, is like this kind of color. And I hopefully have already put up these color palettes so you can see. But it's this color. And I had this color in my stash, and this is Explore Knits and Fibers Denali Sock in her Ines Moore. And I want to say this is from her Ireland collection. And where my desk is set up in my office, I spend most of the day like in my peripheral view is my fingering weight cabinet. And so I spend a lot of time staring at my yarn because it's right there in my face. So I plan and think and rearrange the list of things that I want to knit. And I had this, and I bought Knitting for Olive Mohair in Dusty Aqua. And I have been, and I mean, that's a bang on perfect match, right? And it's very squarely one of the colors in my warm spring color palette, right? Which is great. So then I was like, what am I going to make? And the list of things that I went through to make this was long. It included the Colette Pullover by Sari Nardlin with like those crisscrossy cables. And I wanted to knit this for spring, and for me, certain textures are very much fall knits. And that is a me thing. That is not a thing for the rest of the world. That's a Tiffany neuroses. Um, so like things like cables, while they are perfectly fine in the spring, for me, those are fall styles. Like I want cables for fall. Like Rebecca Close Lauder situation, all those. Like I wanted it one of those so bad, but it's like I also want to knit that in a fall color. So like what am I gonna do with that right now in the spring? Nothing. So it's probably gonna circle back in the fall. I say all that to say, I think what I decided, because this was the yarn that I thought I was going to make the Lento out of, and I realized I had too much of it. Then I'd be left with like almost a whole skein of this and like 3 of these. And what am I going to do with all of that yarn? So I was like, I need something that's going to use most of the yarn. Well, I can make Petite Knit Stockholm pullover. And that was one of the ones that I had originally said I was going to make. And then I was like, well, it will be really pretty as like the Colette pullover. And then I was like, oh, it'd be pretty as the Lento. And then if I knit the Lento, it'll knit up so quickly because it's on such big needles. Then when I did the math, I was like, who's going to do it? What am I going to do with all that leftover yarn? So that made me angry. So that's how I ended up with other yarn for the Lento. But so yeah, all that Stockholm pullover, Petite Knit, simple. To the point. I think it's going to look really, really nice. It'll be something that I can wear when it's cool, right? I mean, and also this is a color that can go into fall. Obviously, it's green. Yes, it's light green, but it's still green. And with mohair, obviously, it's going to go into the fall. But it feels fresh and springy. And in my mind, I need this for a spring sweater. So therefore, it's going to be the Stockholm pullover. Fun fact for those of you who don't know, the difference between the Stockholm pullover and the Oslo pullover by Petite Knit, because at quick glance they look like exactly the same sweater, is because they are, except the Stockholm pullover sweater, whatever it's called, has shaping, waist shaping. It tapers at the waist. The Oslo goes straight down. Stockholm tapers. That's literally the difference. That's a whole separate pattern. For those of you who didn't know, that's the difference. So do with that information what you will. But yes, so that's the plan for this, the Stockholm pullover by Petite Knit. I want to okay. So speaking of vests and Petite Knit, okay, so when Rebecca Clow, the Cray Bear, released the Lauder pattern series, it's like 6 different sweaters, right? I was looking at that and I was like, what if I knit the vest, right? Because it's a vest, but even though it has cables, it's still a vest. But then I was like, you've never actually knit a vest before. Are you even a vest person? Because what I'm not going to do is knit a whole cable knit vest and then I don't wear it. Because what I'm going to do, that's not who I am. So what I decided I was going to do is I'm going to knit a test vest, right? A simple vest that I can see if it's something that I will actually wear, or if it's a thing that I'm not a vest person, because I've never been a vest person, but I keep seeing them and they look nice on other people, and maybe I can be someone that looks nice in a vest. I don't know. So I have 2 options. So you guys will have to help me choose. And there's plenty of time for you to make comments to let me know which one you think I should knit, because this is not something that's going to be cast on in the next week. So I have La Bien Amie. This is her merino singles, and the color is called Happy Accident. And I have enough of these to hold them double. And I like how variegated it is, and I think holding them double will disperse all those colors nicely. Because it's got a little bit of gold. It's mostly, you ride a train by this. It's like a pink or purple or maybe burgundy sweater. But it's got some red, it's got some pink, it's got some almost like black bits, some gold. So I have this. Or, which is also very deep sash. Fun fact, I bought this in Paris. My friend and I, we went, and I was determined that I was going to get some yarn and bring it home from Paris. And I dragged her all the way to La Bien Ami. And she was like, "Can't you get this in the States?" I was like, "I am buying La Bien Ami in Paris." And she was like, "I'm going to go sit down and wait." But yeah, I bought this. And then I have this. This is Farmer's Daughter. I think it's sort of Juicy DK. Yeah, Juicy DK, and the color is called Flight of the Crane. And this is also just regular DK. And I would hold that single, obviously, because the sweater is DK weight. So yeah. Which one do you guys think should be my test vest? Burgundy. I mean, they're two shades of the same color, but one is solid, one is variegated. Which should I choose? Wait, thumbnail. Okay. What else? Oh, okay. So I want to knit the Coco Tee by Sari Nordlund. I bought this. Did I buy this at Rhinebeck? Yeah, I bought this at Rhinebeck. The last time I was at Rhinebeck, which was 2 years ago, meaning I went 3 years ago. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I bought this at Rhinebeck. She was there. She was doing a trunk show at one of the local yarn stores. And this is her Hella Hank. It is 80-10-10 MCN, 600 yards, and the color is called Nailed It. And I actually want to say she was wearing a shirt that she had knit out of this color. And when I walked in, I was like, oh, must have that color. So I walked up to her and I was like, what color are you wearing? That's the one I want. And I don't even know if I said hi to her first. I may have just like been a crazy person about the yarn. So yeah, so I want to do the Coco Tee by Sari Nordlund in this. I think it'd be really nice, nice stripy, light. Um, I've seen talk online of people not liking summer knits, which is entirely fair. But one thing I think people should think about when making things for the summer is one, the yarn content. First of all, to me, no single plies. No single plies for summer, because even if it has all the other stuff in it, it's furry, it's hairy. Like you're sweating and then you're wearing something hairy. Like, no. You need something that's got a nice tight spin to it. I personally prefer fingering weight with nylon content in it. The higher the better, because if you think about it, you can wear a sock in the summer and that's nylon, right? And then I know that there are heavier summer weight fabrics or some heavier summer weight materials, but it's like, even if it's made out of cotton and linen, like a bulky weight yarn out of cotton and linen, it's still a heavy yarn, even if the fibers are appropriate. So like you kind of have to pick and choose, one, your environment, where do you live, how hot does it get, and two, like just what's a good option. And for me, I learned the hard way about a fingering weight single ply. I knit a So Faded, an Andrea Mowry So Faded out of 3 colors. If they faded beautifully, and they were colors that didn't make any sense together. There was no way those should have worked, but they did. And I made a So Faded, and they were all single ply. And I wore that shirt exactly one time. And I wore it the day I took a picture in it. And I about had a heat stroke and died, and promptly gave that sweater away. I don't even know where it is. I think I gave it to the Goodwill. Like, the sweater was terrible. It was too hot. It was furry. It was like holding on to me. It was, don't do it. So, pro tip: single ply and heavy yarn, just, they don't go for summer. But something like this, I think an MCN, tightly spun, right? I think will be fine. Just have more t-shirts, because I don't mind knits in the summer, and I'm coming from Atlanta, so we get pretty hot and humid summers there. Okay, so I want to make I want to make Beckett by Marie Green. again, something simple, staple items. Like I'm going through like a staples moment. I want things that are universal that I can just toss on. I can dress them up, I can dress them down. They are integrated very well into my wardrobe. So Beckett Tee by Marie Green, I want to knit it in Explore Knits and Fibers, Denali Sock, and Olive Grove. And this is from one of her last collections. I forget what the collection was about, honestly, but um, Italy or something? I don't remember. Anyway, yes. So I want to knit Beckett out of this, and I think it would be really, really pretty. Um, yeah, simple. Again, the color, spring, fall. You know, like it's going to be universal. Darker jeans in the fall, lighter jeans in the spring and summer. So yeah, that's the plan for. I want to knit another ranunculus. Um, because why not? And I also like going into knits that I know are quick knits, and a ranunculus for me is a quick knit, given the gauge. And I have had this Malabrigo Cicero and Natural in my stash for ages. Um, it's time it comes out. It's time it gets to be something pretty and loved and worn often. So that's the plan here. Quick little ranunculus, you know, here, there, and out the way. So that's the plan for. Um, I I want to knit the camisole that is making everybody crazy. They either like it or they hate it, but they're doing something about it. Um, I have this again, deep stash. This is NBK Northbound Knitting's yarn, and this is their merino silk fingering. It is 50/50 merino silk, and the color is called Rosewood, and it is a tonal brown. And I want to make Camisole #9 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. And I'm aware that that camisole seems to make people a little bit crazy, which is fine. But I also know that I'm going to have to make some mods, because what I'm not about to do is wear that tank top with a strapless bra. I'm not doing it. With I don't voluntarily put on a strapless bra ever, and I'm not about to do it to put on knitwear. So I'm going to have to make those straps wider, because the bras that I'm going to have to make those straps wider, because the bras that I wear are wide, and they don't do that whole cut in thing. My bra straps sit right here. So I'm going to have to knit that tank top with a wider strap, because I'm going to wear a bra every single time I'm going to wear. So that's going to be a mod that I know I'm going to have to make. So I'm going to have to be in the mood to deal with those kind of mods. So that's my plan here. I want to knit a, wait, which one is it? Yes, okay. I want to knit the Cumulus Tee by Petite Knit. I've wanted to knit for a while. I always put it on the list and then it comes off, and I put it on the list and then it comes off. But I feel like, again, it's one of those staples. And in hot pink for summer, come on now, that would be perfect. Nice punchy, and then it will be a nice punch of color in the fall if I chose to. And this is Farmer's Daughter Fibers, and they're squish fingering, and the color is Big Sky Sunset. Um, who doesn't love a nice neon pink? You know you love it. Maybe you don't. Maybe you hate pink, but I like it. The list is long. Don't talk about me. Also, there is a bundle down below of all of these, plus a couple of honorable mentions that didn't actually make like the cutoff list. But I want to knit the Daily Pullover by Paula Pereira from Pearl Soho. And this is Treehouse Yarns Spruce Sock in the colorway Drift. I love this color. It's kind of red. It's kind of pink. It's a really, really nice tonal. It's got good depth of color. So I I've really been wanting a fingering weight V-neck and keep waiting on Jessie Mae to write one, and she hasn't, and I don't know what that's about. And I'm not in the mood to self-draft it, so I'm going to knit the daily pullover. And I might modify it just to make the V a little bit lower, because if I'm going to wear a V-neck, I want to wear a V-neck. I don't want to wear, like, it needs to V. I'm a busty gal. They need to breathe. So yeah, I think I'm going to knit the daily pullover with this. So that's the plan there. And I don't remember what the plan was for that. And then my last thing I kind of want to make that probably isn't going to happen this spring, maybe going into fall, is I bought this weird yarn at Rhinebeck, and it is called Jambalaya, and it is by the brand Artisanal Yarns. You can find them on Facebook at Artisanal Yarns. They had, and apparently this yarn was born on 10/29/18. They tend to do a lot of like weird multi-fibered yarns, and they come in these hanks. And what I really want to do is like also make a duster with this, along the lines of like the Kinikin cardigan, but I'm probably going to have to self-draft it, just because the Kinikin, I think, is not big enough for me, or at least is not as big as I want it to be. But I definitely want it to be very drapey, very open weave. We'll see if that actually happens this spring. Like that's a reach. That's like a reach. But when I got this, I just had to have it. And I always enjoy going to that booth at Rhinebeck. They actually like are in this hut all by themselves, not too far from the donuts. Like the donuts are up the hill, and then you come down the hill, and then you go back up the hill, and they're usually like right up the hill from the donut place. Anyway, I say all that to say I bought this from them, and I like it, and I want to self-draft a cardigan, like a duster, not even a cardigan, like a duster, like full-on drape. So that is, those are my, oh wait, no, there's one more. Oh my God. Okay, so I know there weren't many cardigans on the list, but what I realized is that I do want more cardigans. I think I've only ever actually knit one. So the cardigan that I do want to knit is the Kinvarra Cardigan, and that is by, again, Minima Knits. Yeah, did I talk about that? Oh no, I talked about another one. I talked about another one of her patterns, the Kinvarra Cardigan by Minima Knits, and I want to knit it out of. Explore Knits and Fibers. This is their Surrey alpaca lace, and this is in the colorway Rioja. And it's this really pretty, well, you know, everything's a little bit duller when it's on Surrey, but it's really pretty burgundy. And my plan is to hold it here with Cascade Heritage. And this is their merino nylon 75/25, and the colorway is, I want to say it's burgundy. The color number is 5336. But yes, so my plan there is the Kinvarra cardigan, and I think that will just be so pretty and so drapey and so nice for spring. I do not look forward to winding the Surrey, because I feel like it's about as fluffy and everywhere as mohair is going to get, but neither here nor there. I really, really want to do this. So yeah, I think that is my very, very, very ambitious list of things I want to knit for spring and summer. I don't remember how many of the things I actually knit from my winter knitting plans. Once I started knitting again, I did pretty good, but it took a minute to really consistently knit. So my winter knitting plans took a hit for good reason, but I'm looking forward to it. And like I said, I already got started. So we'll see what I actually get through. I am motivated. It's just the reality of I am one person. I am not an octopus. Man, if I were an octopus, there would be so many things I would knit. Um, but anyway, thanks so much for hanging out. If you are still here, please let vote on which yarn I should use for the vest. Absolutely. But also, if you are not subscribed, please consider. Please click the bell. Please click the bell to be notified when I release a new upload. And it's been nice to see y'all. Come back again.